Hi there, my name's Ayrton, and I work for the Tesco mobile store in Sandhurst. Been working there for about 2 years now, and really what I just wanted to do was go over a few techniques that I use to help my sales, I guess. So firstly, what I do is I would obviously introduce myself to the customer, make sure I befriend them. So sort of techniques I use there is maybe little jokes, ask them if they're okay, if they've had a good week, etc., etc., and then just making sure that they're happy and feeling comfortable in my company. Secondly, what I really like to use is obviously knowing what they want. So the few important questions that I tend to ask is, what network are you on? What phone do you currently have? What do you use the phone for? Or if they're pay-as-you-go customers, I'd ask them, how often are you topping up? And then that will really give you an idea on what sort of phone they want, whether it's an iPhone, Android, button phone, whether they need to be on pay monthly, pay as you go, etc., etc. Then once you know that, then you then begin to get an idea of the personality of the customer. And a really important thing that I have learned during my years is adapting to the customer, because what you find is you deal with all sorts of customers, especially with Tesco Mobile. We tend to have a lot of elderly customers who sometimes get very overwhelmed very quickly, and it's really important to adapt to the customer, so you're explaining the right things to them so they feel happy and comfortable rather than overwhelming them with loads of information. So that leads me to the third point of having to adapt to the customer and showing them the necessary phones, because what I see a lot of my colleagues do, or what I used to do myself, is giving them loads and loads of different options to the point where they're overwhelmed. Mentioning things like Anytime Flex, mentioning, oh, this phone does this, da da da, this phone does this, da da da, and then they get overwhelmed. So what I like to do is I give them an option of two phones. I say this phone is good because of this reason, and I say this phone is good because of this reason, and then I give them the option that they can decide for. And I give them about 10-20 seconds to think to themselves. Well, I'm obviously standing next to them, but they think to themselves, and then they suddenly decide that they want that one. If they ask any other questions, obviously I answer what they need to answer. In terms of sometimes, on a rare case, you can get a customer though that rejects you, and that's where you need to then start using certain techniques.